the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes for the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order. It is Monday, May 24th in the year 2021. And today is the day we're starting a week-long series talking about Buckeye football players that have played football at Ohio State previously, last year or year before, and we can expect big things from them coming up in the fall. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at JSteven07. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter as well at Locked On Buckeye. Lined up for today in segment 2. Going to start that new series. Big things coming. One athlete for every day this week that we can expect big things from. Now, all these athletes are picking. They have previously played a snap or two or had some success at Ohio State at some point in time. Segment 3, how the play that we're discussing on that day, how it affects that position group. We begin today's show talking about things that don't get talked about enough. Success in the classroom. Ohio State University. It is just that. It is a university that allows athletes, not just football players, but basketball, baseball, hockey, softball, track and field, etc., etc., etc. Think about all the athletics that Ohio State provides to their students so they can play. They can not just be in the classroom and be successful there, but have the possibility to be successful on an athletic field or court as well. And this is one thing that I think a lot of people lose sight of. And I'm just going to be honest with you. There are times that I get so wrapped up into the football, the basketball, the baseball at the collegiate level. You can watch college baseball and college softball right now on the ESPN family of networks. And I just enjoy watching collegiate sports. I have my entire life. And I don't believe that's going to change anytime soon. Well, Ohio State athletics, they do allow their students to, or the athletes to, well, you have to go to school, take class. Just like people think, oh, you're a transfer, you graduate, you can transfer to another school and not take classes. That is false. Joey Brunk, basketball. This is a football segment, but Joey Brunk from basketball just graduated from Indiana University with his master's. He still has to take classes at The Ohio State University in the fall and spring to play basketball. It's a requirement because the university is first. It is first a place of higher learning. And that place of higher learning allows an avenue for athletes, both men and women, to play sports at the collegiate level. This collegiate level, this place being Ohio State. Here are some numbers or some things that Ohio State football has done as far as success in the classroom. And I love hearing these numbers, just seeing these guys being successful on the field and in the classroom. And a lot of these individuals, most of them, they know they're not going to play football after Ohio State. Once their collegiate playing career is over, it's over. Their football career is over, and they know they have to be successful in the classroom to really know and to strive to be the best in their future career as quick as possible. To the numbers about what the Buckeyes have done to be successful in the classroom. Current average team GPA, 3.05. 4 consecutive semesters above 3.0. 40 academic all Big Ten recipients, 60, count them, 60 student athletes above 3.0 GPA. That's amazing. That is huge. That just shows athletes, these young men, have their head on straight. They're not just taking their schooling lightly. They're not just taking the classroom lightly. Yes, we all hear about the scams. We all hear about those that are out there not really taking the classroom serious. We hear about universities let's just go ahead and say it. I was going to try and be delicate. We hear about universities giving athletes the easy way or helping them get past and helping them get past their class so they can be eligible to play the basketball. This does not sound like a program or students that are just trying to get by, barely make it, barely hit the quota so they can go ahead and stay on the team. This doesn't sound like that at all. Because as a person myself who didn't try as hard as he should have in school, could have got done a lot better in school, but really, I didn't really care for school. I'm not a really big classroom person. And that could be why I look at these numbers and look at the success that Ohio State players have had, and it means so much to me. Also, this is a testament to Ryan Day. He comes into Ohio State and takes over after Urban retires after, I believe it was the Rose Bowl win over Washington. I believe it was it the 2019 Rose Bowl? I know Ryan Day's first year coaching was 2019, and I want to say the 2018 season, 2019 Rose Bowl. Urban Meyer coached that game. Ryan Day took the program over shortly after that. And Ryan Day is tasked with a lot. You're the head football coach at the Ohio State University. You are the best coach at the best football program in the Big Ten Conference. You look at the CBS Sports College Football Rankings, College Football Coaches Rankings, you got an SEC guy number 1, you got an ACC guy number 2, you got a Big 12 guy number 3, a Big 10 guy number 4, and an independent coach number 5. Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, and Brian Kelly in that order. So you're not just the big dog at the school for the sport you're the coach of. You're not just a big dog coaching-wise in your conference in the sport. You're also one of the best coaches in America. And just imagine with me as we wrap up this first segment. Imagine if Ryan Day came in and said, all right, cool. Y'all, we know what y'all can do on the field, but we don't have to take the classroom lightly. We don't have to do any of that at all. Here's what we're going to do. You come in, play the football, I'll doctor things up and alter things. So if you don't go to class, it looks like you go to class, and you can continue to play. Oh, that test you didn't take? I got you. Oh, I got you. You mean that test, and you mean that final that you said you were going to take and you were going to go to, but you don't want to? Hey, your boy Day, he got no. Ryan Day did not say that. Not at all. And I really like what Ryan Day has done, raising the standard at Ohio State to keep that standard high. Let's step away very, very quickly. When we come back, we will discuss and start a series, big things coming from 5 Buckeye players, one for every day this week. But first, check this out. Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives that don't suck. Researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. I am a person, it's maybe a starter for my grandma when I was a kid. Cinnamon gum always hits. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors also: cherry ice, citrus, and mint. Lucy lozenges and gums are FSA and HSA eligible, so you can use your FSA cards to purchase Lucy now. And it's convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym. It's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. This is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. It's so simple, and you don't have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down. Lucy lozenges and gums are also FSA and HSA eligible, so you can spend pre-tax dollars on them. Locked On College Network listeners, that is you. Go to lucy.co and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Once again, go to lucy.co and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, to get 20% off all products on your first order, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code LOCKEDONCollege at check out. As we continue today's episode of Locked On Buckeyes, I want to take this time to remind you to make sure you subscribe to Locked On Buckeyes so you don't miss a beat. Locked On Buckeyes drops a fresh new episode for you every Monday through Friday. So if you're an audio listener, I listen to most of my podcasts via the audio version, the Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or even iHeartRadio. Just a few of the numerous ways you can catch the audio portion or version of Locked On Buckeyes every Monday through Friday, but also youtube.com/Locked On Buckeyes or WKYC.com as well. Check us out on so many platforms so you can consume and enjoy Locked On Buckeyes on a consistent basis. Big things coming. I want to make a couple statements as far as my criteria, as far as how I pick the players that will be here or that are on this chart this week. These players would have had to play at Ohio State, not just this year or in the spring game, but previously. And as I look at my chart very, very quickly, not going to give you a tidbit about what's to come in the future, but all of these guys, these are names you will recognize. Every player on my list from today, it's a running back to a tight end, probably gave it away, a skill position, and a couple guys in the secondary on defense. You will recognize them and say, oh, yeah, I know what they have done on the field. That's the criteria. They would have had to play. And at times shown some flashes or really just people know what the future is and have a lot of potential, but what they'll do on the field. First up, big things coming for the week. It is Marcus Crowley. Now, I was up in the air. Running back was going to be my first spot or first position I was going to go for this week. And I was up in the air between Marcus Crowley and another individual in the running back room, but Crowley takes the cake. If you would have remembered back when early in the summer, right after probably February, about a month after the national championship game, I did release my projections about what the offensive and defensive depth charts will be. I had, and I don't remember this off the top of my head, about the second RB2 and RB3 order, but I said Master T, I think he'll start week one. Then I think it was Mayan Williams and Marcus Crowley. That order could have been flip-flop, but those were the three backs. I am for sure I said T would start week one. Well, the more I'm thinking, the more that I'm going back, and the more I am really focusing on that position and what they can do. Marcus Crowley, he is an individual that out of sight, out of mind was kind of the way many people thought about him. And it's unfortunate because he did have some flashes of success in 2019 when he did come really in mop-up duty. There were a lot of games that were blowouts that year. The game he got hurt was a win over Maryland, a 73-14 win over Maryland on Saturday, November the 9th. That was at Ohio Stadium. He tore his ACL. He is fully healed from that. Now, in that season, he did have a couple games. He had some games where it wasn't just 3 or 4 carries of 15, 18 yards. No. He played against Florida Atlantic week 1, 4 carries for 27 yards. He played he played 7 games that year, but against Miami of Ohio, 4 carries, 22 yards. Against Nebraska on the road, 4 carries, 45 yards. Against Northwestern on the road, 2 carries, 53 yards. And then against Maryland, the most carries he had all year, 8 carries, 82 rushing yards, 10.3 yards a pop. That was the only time he ended up scoring a touchdown that year. And he also had a kick return that game against Maryland, 1 return for 17 yards. You may be wondering, Jay, why in the world are you saying Marcus Crowley? I mean, we know that he showed up a little bit in the national championship game. Mayan Williams played a little bit as well. But why Crowley? Why is it someone that you're expecting big things coming from? Well, in a running back room that is looked at from people, not just locally, not just in the Big Ten, but around the country, as people that are saying, Ohio State has a lot of talent. They got a lot of guys. Yes, Master T's going to get a lot of the talk of the town because he has played. He's the most experienced Buckeye among those in the room. Yes, Travion Henderson will get a lot of conversation as well because, well, he's been there. He is a 5-star recruit, and he looks the part of a college running back and a Big Ten running back as well before playing 1 game. But here's one thing I have noticed. I said it last year, and I'll say it again right now. I don't think Master Teague was the best running back on Ohio State last year. I don't think Master Teague has ever been, EVER, the best running back at Ohio State. Freshman year, J.K. Dobbins. Last year, Trey Sermon. And then this year, I honestly don't think he is the better running back if all three are healthy between Mayan Williams, Marcus Crowley, and Master Teague. We haven't seen much from Crowley or Williams in a consistent basis to really know what they'll do when they're the focus or getting a lot of carries every single game, a lot of touches, 15 to 20 touches, 12 to 15 touches. We just don't know. But one thing I do know and I do expect is an experience from the national championship game where Marcus Crowley realized that Tony Alford was right about an evaluation that he had about Crowley's body that's going to push and propel and really allow us to see the potential of Marcus Crowley in the fall. During the national championship game, actually leading up to that, Crowley kept saying to Alford, "Coach, I'm ready. Coach, I'm ready. Coach, I'm ready to go." And Alford just kept saying, "Nah, you're not strong enough. Nah, you're not strong enough. No, sir, you're not strong enough." For Crowley's like, "What are you talking about, man? I'm ready. I know my body. I am ready." National championship game, I believe he had 4 carries for 12 yards. I don't quote me on all of that. But after that moment there, and Crowley realized in the moment, after getting popped a couple times, that Alford was right. Crowley went to the sideline and said, hey, coach, you're right. I apologize. I am not ready. There is wisdom, and there is not just wisdom from a coach, but wisdom and experience and being around for a while and really saying, I know what you think, young man, but you're not ready. And I think that moment in the national championship game, really that sour taste in his mouth from seeing how Alabama put the beat down on Ohio State, I honestly and truly believe is what's going to propel Marcus Crowley to eventually be RB1 in the season. I don't know if it'll be against Oregon. I don't know when it will be. But I do expect from Marcus Crowley at some point to be a big, vital piece as a running back this year in the fall. I do also believe that he's going to actually push the other players in that running back room to be very, very successful. How does his success in the fall help the other running backs? Stick around to find out. But first, check this out. There's a good chance you're a person like me that loves, and I literally mean LOVES, a good protein bar. You know the protein bars that when you look at the nutritional facts on the box or package that they come in, you say, oh, that fits everything I'm looking for. And that protein bar that tastes like a candy bar as well. Well, guys, I have been in my search looking for the protein bar that fits me, and I thoroughly encourage you to consider ending yours as well. Because Built Bars are great for the health-conscious guy. They also help you lose and maintain weight while indulging in a delicious treat. Bars are low-calorie, low-sugar, high protein, high fiber, and they're also great for the keto diet. And one interesting detail about Built Bars is they are covered in 100% chocolate. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order. Once again, go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order at BuiltBar.com. And as we roll on here on Locked On Buckeyes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day, I want to remind you to make sure you check out the Locked On Big Ten podcast. Myself and Big Ten Ben Stevens have a fun, exciting show ready for you. You want to know what we're talking about? Click the link, follow me on Twitter. I'll retweet the link. Go to YouTube, Locked On Big Ten, hit that search engine. You'll find it there. Then also, wherever you're listening to this podcast, audio version, you can search Locked On Big Ten to check that out there as well. Marcus Crowley, we have seen some success from him on the field. We have seen really a 16-month, I believe it'll be a very, 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 very long healing process once he tore his ACL September 9th, 2019 against the Maryland Terrapins. How in the world is this success? How in the world is him being in that running back room and being successful going to help the other players that are in that same room as well? But let's go down the list for different athletes that are in this room. Master Teague, the most experienced. Marcus Crowley, been the subject of the conversation. You have Steele Chambers. You have Mayan Williams. You have Travion Henderson and Evan Pryor. Everyone forgets about Pryor. People forget about Chambers. Honestly, a lot of people forget about Williams and Crowley as well. But everybody in that room is talented. They all bring something different to the table. When I think about Crowley's success or big things coming for him in the fall and how it affects the future of this running back room, not just this year, but years to come, there's a couple things that come to my mind. Number one, he can do amazing things to push the development of these players. Think about it. If he does well and if he recovers and if he shows out, like I expect him to, is going to push Master Teague to get a whole lot better. The wiggle that people say that Teague does not have in his hips, you could get that as well. Said, oh, Teague, I know what you did last year, but where'd this come from? Where'd that little extra movement come from? Oh, I saw Crowley do it in practice. I saw how he was progressing. I saw how he was getting better, and I wanted to add it to my game, so I got a little bit more flexible, talked to some of the people in the program, and they helped me, honestly, be a little bit more flexible and really just be a better running back than I've ever been in my life. And I got that motivation from Crowley's success. Oh, what about Mayan Williams and Steele Chambers? Two guys right there that I think that talented, really, really talented. What people think Chambers should have moved to linebacker. I don't believe that has not happened. Mayan Williams, another guy who is, I believe, going to be in rotation, especially early on in the season, where they're trying to figure out the running back. Is it going to be a bell cow? Is it going to be a running back by committee with being so much talent at Ohio State? You're thinking running back by committee, but that might not be the best thing for this team. People can look at Crowley's success, how he has recovered from this injury, and say, whoo-wee, if he can do that after suffering that type of injury, I, myself, who have not suffered any type of injury, can do a whole lot more than I'm doing right now to get on the field at Ohio State. But especially with the youngsters, Pryor and Henderson, they can use this as motivation for the future. Because imagine if Henderson has heard his name talk so much, and Crowley just shows out and says, hey, young man, I know you're a newcomer, but ain't no room for you on this field when I'm playing like this, when I'm toting this rock like this. You got to wait your turn. And Henderson's going to keep that thought in his mind and going to keep that at the forefront of his memory and say, okay, I see you. I hear the noise. I hear the media. I read the articles. And I see what you're doing. You're making sure that I don't touch the field. You're making sure that I don't get the touches that people say I was going to get. I'm going to look at you and use you as motivation to push myself. Now, I will say this, as athletes, should they need motivation, find motivation from other people? Should it be inside themselves? Absolutely yes. But we are human, and we look at other people, especially in the social media age. You say, ooh, you doing that motivates me. But someone else motivating you to do something means nothing if you don't go out there and do something about what that person motivates you to do. I know it's a little play on words, a little tongue-tied, but if I look at somebody, may it be you're a long-distance runner, may it be you're a football player in high school, may it be you're someone in college that is striving to get into a career, and you saying somebody motivates you because of what that person is doing, but if you're not taking what that person is doing and not altering things and you using that motivation they provide or you're getting from that person and doing things so you can get better, means nothing. I have seen so many people say, ooh, that thing inspires me. And that inspires me. But somebody doing something they love and you saying it inspires you means absolutely nothing if there's no action put to it. I do think that Henderson, Pryor, and the rest of the running backs in this running back room, they can look at Crowley, his recovery from the injury, and the success he'll have in the fall and say, hey, Marcus, Thank you, sir. You doing that has allowed me to be a better running back and add certain different elements to my game. This is just day one of big things coming, a series discussing what Buckeyes we can expect big things from in the fall. As always, you guys can follow me on Twitter at jsteven07. Those of you that are on the YouTube or WKYC.com, see the Twitter handle at the bottom of every single video. You can also send all of your emails to jstevens317 at gmail.com. Come back tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If there's new, I actually already have an opener lined up for Tuesday, but if there's news, that news supersedes whatever my opener will be, because this is the place to be to stay up to date with your Ohio State football and basketball teams.